Do you have a story to share with the world? Of course you do. We all have stories to share. An Anchor podcast allows you to share your interests in a way that connects to others all across the globe. If you have been considering starting your own podcast and don't know where to begin, Anchor makes it easy to record, edit, and publish with the click of a button. You can even add music. Whether it's crime dramas, self-improvement, paranormal adventures, or tips about parenting, you too can share your unique imprint on the world. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. You've got this. I believe in you. Welcome to the Existential Empath Podcast. My name is Tanya, and I am an intuitive empath. My intention is to share valuable tools and techniques that I have learned so you can tap into your own inner healer naturally and intuitively. And welcome back to my channel. My name is Tanya, and I am the Existential Empath. And today I have a special guest with me. Her name is Stephanie Zumwalt, and she is a Beyond Quantum Healing hypnosis practitioner. And we had scheduled to have this particular video today, and we had a topic planned ahead of time. But as we all know, the energy shifts and the energy changes. And so what we've decided to talk about today is number one, being an empath through this really heavy energy that we have coming at us right now. And both of us are experiencing different aspects of this energy. And we just wanted to come together to share tools with each and every one of you to help you get through this energy too. And we always look forward to you as well sharing in the comments some of the tools that you're all using, so we can work together to transmute this energy. So, hey, Steph, thank you so much for joining us today. And how are you feeling?
Oh my gosh. I wish I could say that I am feeling amazing, but I'm not. I am feeling so heavy. The last 4 days or so have been just very draining for me. And, I always want to be that person that's an example for, alignment. And it's been I've caught myself criticizing myself a little bit because it's been a challenge. So, but I have used some tools over the last 24 hours that have helped a lot. So I'm excited to talk about that.
Well, good. So, and I know it's hard. We had discussed that, this role of being an empath and coming in, into this as a light worker, and what our role is to transmute this energy and to raise the vibration and to hold that frequency. And many of us are being tested on that right now. I know I can personally say, when I'm at home and I'm in my comfort zone or I'm in my space, I can hold my frequency really easily. But the moment I get out and about into the world, or, I'm going to run some errands or around other people, I am being challenged with that. I'm really being challenged with, can I hold this light? Can I hold this frequency? Yeah. And it gets really difficult, especially because, you and I have discussed, we don't watch the news. We don't tune into what's going on in that 3D world. I know the only way I find out about it is either through social media or my friends, will call me. But we can still pick up that energy from those around us. I live in an apartment kind of condo setting. So I'm picking up that energy from my neighbors and, just by being in my space. So, yeah. And I know we've discussed that before. So what are some tools that you use to help you maybe disconnect from that collective consciousness to be able to recharge your battery?
Yeah, well, sometimes, so first off, sometimes it is just too much to try to do anything. Sometimes you just have to allow it to be there. There might be an important clarity moment that's coming. There might be an important message that you're going to receive from it. It's okay to be uncomfortable that way. Mm-hmm. When I try to force myself out of it, it's that action instead of being, and I find that it kind of makes it bigger for me. So sometimes I like to just sit in it if I can't change it overnight. You know what I mean? Sometimes just sleeping overnight, waking up in the morning, my energy is going to be a lot different. If it's the same the next day, then I'm like, whoa, okay, I've got some things going on here. But yesterday what I was doing, because I just got to the point where I was like, so fed up with not being in alignment. I am such a light being, and it was not comfortable. So what I did is I just visualized. I did a meditation, and I visualized the violet flame, and I visualized myself just shoveling all of these emotions and feelings that are not mine into that violet flame, and having it come out in this beautiful violet color of love and clarity and freedom and abundance and all of those things that you want to feel once you tap in and understand that you have that ability to feel them. So that was the one thing that I was doing yesterday to work on trying to just transmute this energy.
Yeah, and that's great. Doing a meditation. I know for me, I use muscle testing. So I'll muscle test. Am I connected to the collective? Can I disconnect now? So there's times when I'm connected because I'm in transmuting mode, and then there's times when I'm like, I just have to disconnect. And then spending time in nature has been really big for me, just getting out and getting my feet on the grass, or going out and taking a walk near a lake, or anything to just really cleanse that energy. Another thing I had taught someone to do the other day is just take high vibes essential oils, whether that's frankincense or rose or lavender, whatever, and just putting a few drops in your hand and rubbing your hands together and combing your aura, literally going through your aura.
Oh yeah.
Just kind of combing it, and you'll feel the tingles. It feels really good, and just do it throughout your whole body. And it's like you're just like you had done the meditation where you're just shoveling stuff out. Just visualize yourself pulling out the gunk and getting rid of all the murky, muddy, stagnant energy stuck in your aura. That's been a really good one. And make sure you do your crown and all of that. So that one's been a good one for me. Taking a shower, just a simple, rinsing off, visualizing all of the nastiness going down the drain.
And I also, one night I was just laying there, and I had the instinct to grab my hematite. I needed to be grounded. I did not feel grounded. And then I also grabbed my rose quartz and then placed them in different parts of my body while I was just laying there trying to watch, crap, TV that is not, vibrationally out of alignment with me.
Yeah. And that's great. Let's talk about that. What are some crystals, that we can use to help us stay grounded? So you mentioned hematite. That's excellent. It's magnetic as well. So that one is wonderful. I know I've been using the Pneumite. Pneumite helps against psychic attack, negative energy, grounding, and then of course black tourmaline is always good. Shungite helps with all those electromagnetic frequencies. Rose quartz is a go-to.
Any of the dark crystals are going to help ground you, and I highly recommend them. I wear them when I go into public places. I have lots of bracelets that I've made of lava rock and different, hematite, lots of different, the black tourmaline's on there as well, that I wear in kind of like a protection. It kind of just protects me. It will absorb that negative, energy or vibration that's lower than what I'm carrying. I visualize that it absorbs that so that it does not come into my field and will not affect me that way.
Absolutely.
Because that's what happens is we just absorb all of these energies.
We do. We're like big sponges, and some of us are so saturated that we just can't take anymore. You're just like, I'm done. And then that's when we get to the stage of burnout because we're so saturated with our own energies and the energies of our families. And then we go out and about in the public, and then we pick up on that. And many of us are so in tune to the collective energy that it's just completely overwhelming, and it gets really difficult for us to.
And I want to mention too, because you told me this before we started this, and it is something that I know to be true, but I forget about it. And that is when you're in a relationship and you are sleeping next to somebody every night and you're sharing
or
space,
having intercourse,
having intercourse or sharing that space with somebody, you have to be, I think, as an empath, extra mindful of your own vibration. You have to, I'm getting tingles when I say this. I think my higher self is like,
yes, this is what's happening. And you're transmuting his, their energy.
And I tend, empaths always, and we need to do this one too, but empaths always tend to line up their energy with who they are next to. I mean, it's kind of like a default, I think, that we go to, but we have to, being empowered empaths, we have to make them rise to our vibration.
Absolutely.
that's why they are attracted to us in the first place anyways, because we have this big, wonderful vibration. But then when we get into a relationship, we're like, we go right back down to where they are.
Yeah.
So it's important to make sure that you are using tips and tricks, different, you talked about drains and things like that, but different visualizing techniques that you can use to detach that energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. And drains are very simple. It's just visualizing a drain maybe at your front door, where a drain is where, you know, an energetic drain, someone walks in the door and all of that, anything that doesn't serve you goes down that drain. Another thing I like to do is put a selenite rod under the bed. So that way that'll clear it. Pop in some crystals. If you have a spouse or a significant other that isn't into crystals, guys, just pop them under their pillow. They don't know any differently.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you just pop under a black tourmaline or a shungite, or angelite is one that I just love. It helps with the throat chakra. It's a very high vibrational crystal, and it calls in your angels to surround you.
Yeah.
We've even taken it to the step of listening to 417 hertz, which clears negative energy at nighttime while we're sleeping, or, you know, the solfeggio frequencies, just having them in the background playing. That's really cleansing as well. So
yeah, and it can't be, it's not necessarily that your partner is a downer or, you know,
exactly.
It's not to say, it's just that they're carrying around their own stuff that they've gone through during the day, and you don't want to pick that stuff up. You want to be able to help them from a higher point, right? Of course. For example, my boyfriend works at a corrections facility, and so you talk about something.
I can only imagine the energy he's bringing home, and
it's really heavy.
Yeah, and so, and you could be clean, you know, you could have that clean energy, and the moment he walks in that door and hugs you, it's like, it's, you know, all on you. So learning those tools to block that out, but still be able to have, you know, because I always visualize a bubble around me. But it's a permeable bubble. It doesn't permeate the negative in, but it permeates the positive in. Right. Now, right. So I've always had that visual of, I just walk around in this bubble, but things can come in and out of it, but it's what I choose to come in and out of it.
Yes. Right? And that's so important for empaths. It is. You have to have some sort of, and there are tons of videos online on YouTube, guided visual meditations that can help you to, you know, set whatever visualization boundary it is that you want to set.
Absolutely.
And it really does help. It really does. You just have to take the time to do it, because I'm telling you, if you don't, we were also talking that when I get into these personally, when I start feeling things like this, when it's too hard for me to like control or shift, pivot, I lean on comfort. Whatever is going to bring me comfort. If I'm feeling uncomfortable, I want to comfort myself and soothe myself. So what do? I eat comfort foods. Yeah. Like pasta.
And that's so common. That's so common because.
And I drink wine. And,
And as children, that's what we did too sometimes. You know, when you were crying or something, someone would hand you a candy or a cookie or, you know, snack to pull you out of it. So we've been programmed to do that subconsciously, because it makes
even
us
some
feel
of those
good.
can, and so you were saying that some of those things can also be low vibe. They can also lower my vibe as well. So it's important. You were saying to bless your food, bless your wine. What's the process you do?
You can do that. Yeah. So anytime they call them spirits for a reason, because when you consume them, whether it be drugs or alcohol, it lowers the vibration, which I call Swiss cheese aura. So when you lower your vibration, your aura looks like Swiss cheese. It has all these holes in it, and that can make room for these energies to attach, right? Because they're like, ooh, this person's at my vibe, you know? And then, because there's people who are happy drunks and people who are super downer drunks, and it all depends on usually the emotion or the feeling that you have before you start consuming, you know, the alcohol or the drugs. But yeah, just doing a simple intention setting. And like I said, a lot of people pray over their food, but they don't really know why they pray over their food. They're infusing energy into that food. And what it's doing is it's raising the vibration of the food. So just saying, you know, my intention is to, you know, I usually say my intention is to raise the vibration of this food, resetting it back to its original DNA structure from source energy. And then I ask the food to nourish every cell in my body, to raise my vibration, to maintain my vibration. You can really do whatever you want. And usually when I'm eating, I try to incorporate lots of colors of the chakras, like at least my breath, you know, in the morning I do,
Yeah.
not all day, but, and if you know, if you're going ready to eat you're getting ready to eat a hamburger and you're thinking, this is going to make me fat. Oh, why am I doing this? You are manifesting that, guys.
Yeah.
So when you're eating that hamburger, oh, this is so good and it's making me so skinny and this is providing me with protein and,
Yes.
you know, this is a high vibrational food, because I think us too, during the spiritual journey, many of us vacillate between being vegan and eating meat, and then we beat ourselves up, and
Yeah.
but we're still in this third dimensional world, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, many of our bodies are going to still crave meat, but we also need to understand that the energy of that animal, when it was slaughtered or however it was, you know, processed to make our food, that energy is being held in that food. So we
Right.
want to cleanse that energy. And, you know, it's important to do that, because that food, we want the food to be living. In our water, you can do the same with water. Water holds memory. So just by doing that, eating clean, it's going to help keep your meridians and your chakras, you know, a lot more smooth and running, you know, much more cleanly.
Yeah.
And that will help with these shifts too.
I love that. No, that's a great point. It
And
really
with the
is.
moon, this moon coming up too.
my
We all get
God.
so affected by it.
I mean, as if we don't, yeah. And I know it's all for a purpose. It is all for a purpose, guys. It's not for nothing. Okay?
Exactly.
I have learned to trust the moon.
Well, and the moon's feminine and the sun's masculine. So it's important to get both, you know. So
it is.
we all talk about how the moon affects us, because it affects us all, because we're made of water, you know. So the moon just really, you know, they call it lunatic because it's based after lunar. You know, the hospitals get crazy, everything gets wild, and this one coming up is an eclipse, you know, full moon. So it's really intense, and many of us will feel this a week before, a week after, you know. So getting out in sunshine too is really important, because you're balancing that masculine and feminine energy, you know?
That's a really good point too.
Many women, we will get in our cycles will get in sync with the moons. I know mine, you know, did that. I'm like, wait, for 2 weeks I didn't have my cycle, and now I'm attached to the full moon, you know. And many women are going through this right now, so that can cause emotional disturbances as well.
It really does. And it's important. I trust it. I trust everything the moon has to shine on me. Like I really do. It lights up those little dark areas that you forgot about or didn't realize were still in your, you know, being. And you just gotta just surrender to it and go with it and go where it's taking you, really. I've just learned, I'm a Cancer, and I ruled by that moon, and,
of course.
and I fought it for the longest time, and finally I just was like, I surrender, take me where you want me to go. And it's been a lot easier, but this time, boy, oh boy.
And it's going to get more intense. From what I understand, the summer months and the fall, these energies, we're just getting blasted stronger and stronger and stronger. And so it's going to be so crucial for us to just, it's like we're going to want to get to a point of being on the straight and narrow as much as we can, because we know it's going to affect us physically. Right. And many of us are working so hard on our energetic bodies that our physical bodies are lagging behind. It's like, wait for me, you know, because it's so much slower for our physical bodies to catch up. So sometimes we've just got to take a break energetically to allow our physical being to get there.
Absolutely. And when you feel the need to take a nap, take a nap.
Yes.
I mean, your spirit needs that. I know yesterday I was feeling very, very drained at the end of the day. Like I had run a marathon in my mind, almost like I was on some kind of big mushroom trip or something. Yeah. But at the end of it, I was just like, I was so drained. Just take care of yourself, you know, herbal teas, chamomile, things like that.
Lots of clean water
lots of clean water.
And many of us too, as we sleep, we're active in our sleep state. So we could be, you know, I know for me, I was dreaming a lot, and the last 2 weeks I haven't been dreaming at all. And I know when I'm not dreaming, I'm active, I'm doing something, you know, but, so some of us could be doing stuff while we're sleeping, and then we wake up and we're just exhausted. We're like, why are we so tired? But it's because our physical bodies are resting, but our consciousness is just going, you know, running all these timelines, and, you know, we're all over the place. So
I agree.
When you're sleeping, you're feeling guided to go to bed at 2 in the afternoon. You're being guided to do that because there's something that you're not doing here on the physical plane that you could be doing on another plane. So it's just, we have to listen to our bodies. And
Yes.
really, self-care is the new healthcare, guys. Like I can't say it anymore. We've got to start taking care of ourselves. And as empaths, we have that tendency to want to care for others before we care for ourselves. And it's so important. We've got to put our own respirator mask on before we put on someone else's, because what can we do for others if we can't even function?
Exactly. And if you don't feel like doing something, if you had a commitment, this is my biggest thing that was hard for me, because I'm a people pleaser. I don't want to let anybody down. But if you make a commitment and you are not feeling it energetically, it's okay to say, I got to reschedule.
Yeah. And it's so
okay.
true. It's so true.
You
and
have
it's
to honor yourself.
Pleaser.
Yeah.
We feel guilty if we don't do for others, because we know we're here to help others, but we're also here to help ourselves. And the best way we can help others is to help ourselves first. And
yeah, absolutely.
That's so important. And it's just basic stuff,
right?
Basic stuff.
And obviously I don't think we covered this, but obviously it needs to be said. I'm sure everybody knows, but stay away from the news, stay away from social media if you can. I mean, social media is one of those hard ones for me where it's like, I want to stay off of it, but then I keep going back to it. So
it is. And you can create your social media. So you can unfollow things that lower your vibration. You can hide things for 30 days and be like, okay, this person's, off the Richter. I'm going to hide them for 30 days and give them 30 days to calm down. And you can start adding positive stuff to your Facebook. And I did this years ago. So now it's a pleasure for me to go on there and look at my social media, because I'm like, gosh, I'm learning stuff and I enjoy that. And so and alerts, guys, this is another thing. Everybody's like, I'm getting alerted about riots and this.
Right.
Turn them off.
Yeah, don't.
I haven't had alerts on my phone since I think I bought it. I turned them all off.
No.
I don't get any alerts. And what happens is when you get an alert and you have a ringtone associated with it, it can create PTSD for you, because if, say, you have a ding ding and the alert is something traumatic, and then your subconscious associates that. So you could have that ding ding and it immediately takes you back to that traumatic point. It's like what, Pavlov's law or whatever with the dog?
No, it is.
They would,
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So I usually keep my ringtone at a nice, buzz, or I turn it off, so that way you're not getting those subconscious.
Yeah, I don't get alerts on my phone either. The only ones that come up are like happy ones, like Snapchat. I have a girlfriend that I Snapchat with all the time, and that's always fun. But no, or like Amber Alerts, those come up, and God, those are terrifying when they do.
They are, and you can turn those off. They'll still alert you, but it won't
make that noise.
That noise. But
no,
we can do that, and we have to do that. That's a part of self-care. Because if you are constantly being distracted by loud, and I know with many empaths, including myself, loud noises make me so irritable. And I worked in a hospital setting for many years, and those noises were just, I'd watch the nurses because they tune them out, and I'm like, how do you tune these out? It would make me very agitated and frustrated. So if you're in a living environment that's noisy and you have the news on and your phone's going off and your kids are screaming and the dog is barking, my God, you're going to just, of course you're going to be anxious. So get outside and take a walk, tune out.
Solitude is so important right now. And if you are living in a household where everybody's fighting over politicians or different topics that are going on in the world right now, just try to create a space for yourself that you can go to and put some earbuds in and get away from it. Or when you're hearing people talk about this kind of rhetoric, which is all this is right now,
it is.
Just imagine that bubble around yourself. And I say to myself sometimes, that's their experience, that's not my experience. When I say that to myself, then it reminds me that, it's kind of like the law of attraction. I'm bouncing that off. Like, that is yours. That's not mine. I can see you're having a thing over there, but that's not for me.
Not my reality. That's what I always say, not my reality. And the thing is, as empaths, we're going to soak that up, but we have to be consciously aware of how to protect our energy in those environments where we may have a spouse who's not as awakened, as we are. And it can get really frustrating because you may not have someone to talk to. So increasing your social circle the best way that you can. Trying, working on finding your soul group, bringing people into your life that resonate, with you. So that way it's not so hard for you to hold your vibration. You're able to say, hey, can I reach out to you? Can we talk about this?
Yes,
because
that's
I can't
huge.
talk to my spouse.
That is huge, because I'll tell you, when going through this last weekend, that's exactly what I did. Is I called my one good friend that I know is always, I mean, all of my tribe is tuned in, tapped and turned on, but I mean, but technically, you have people in your life that hold different, I don't, it's like when you're growing up and you really want to date this guy that you know is horrible for you. You're not going to ask your most logical friend. You're going to ask the one that's, you know what I mean? So
100%, yeah.
All of our friends serve different purposes for us. So I called this one friend and explained to her what was happening with me, and just having her explain her perspective, just hearing her perspective, I was like, okay, I felt so much more calm. You need to have a good network. And if you don't have one, start putting that out there. Ask for it.
Yep. And I've got a script that I'll put under the video for anybody that I read for 3 days. And I had, my soul group was coming in from every direction, and they still are. We're all still, attracting to each other and starting to co-create and do amazing things together. And so they're out there, guys. Don't feel like you just have to, work with your family, because we have these avenues where we can get on Zoom, we can text people, we can call people, and we've got to learn to reach out, because awakening is really difficult. Especially if you're the only one, you're like the black sheep in the family, and people think you're crazy. It's you're talking about all this stuff and they don't understand it, but the energy is quickening. It's getting faster. People are going to be waking up a heck of a lot faster than they have in the past. And you're going to begin to notice that. You're going to be like, wow, people that I used to talk about this stuff that blew me off are now starting to ask me questions, and they want to know more. So, but in order for us to be able to share information with them, we've got to keep ourselves, clean and healthy and in balance, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically,
Absolutely. The balance. That's what it is. That's what it's all about right now, is just finding that balance.
It is. So to wrap this up, Steph, are there any other tools or techniques that you want to share? Anything else that you want to add?
I think we've covered it. I mean, I use incense. I use lots of different things.
Sage, dragon blood. Yeah.
It's whatever I'm drawn to. I'm just like, oh, well, I feel like I need to. You get an impulse and you need to act on it. If you all of a sudden have an impulse to pick up a crystal, go get it. Yep. Go get it.
And I want to say the Pneumite and the Moldavite together are awesome at manifesting.
That's what I got on my.
Yes, because you and I were discussing that, and I went and picked up a Moldavite, and I've been utilizing those, and wow.
Yeah, it's incredible energy.
It's very powerful.
Yeah, it is. So crystals. I take salt baths. Those are always really good for me, and I usually put my rose quartz in with it, because it just gives me an extra little love.
That's awesome. And if you can't take a bath, you can still have the salt in there and just brush your aura with it in the shower. I mean, that's just as helpful.
Yeah, just listen to your higher self is guiding you. And when you are truly in that place of, surrendering to what's going on, you will start to receive information about what should I do now?
Or you may just find yourself on Amazon buying a supplement. You don't know why. That's happened to me. I'm like buying shaga mushrooms, and I don't know why. And then I research it later. It's for the pineal gland, and it's really great at inflammation and all of these other things. And so, you may intuitively just be, I have a friend who calls it divine hijacking. It's when your higher self just gets so sick of you not following your path that it just takes over and throws you into these situations. But they're all for the better good of you and humanity. But it's funny how that happens. So if you can really tune into it, then you don't have to be hijacked by your higher self to say, hey,
Yeah, and put that bubble around you, do whatever protection that you need to do when you start your day, or before you're about to have a, meeting or whatever, go out in public. Just, visualize the violet flame, all that stuff. I mean, I think we gave everybody a lot of really good tips.
We did. And I just want to end it out by setting an intention that my intention is to send energy out to each and every one of you to raise your vibration, to cleanse you of what no longer serves you, and to send you healing and abundance and whatever it is that you need, because it's all there. It's in our vortex. It's all there. We just have to align to it. And I know it can be hard to stay in alignment, but there's a reason why we drop down. It's because we have to, it's a part of the lesson. We've got to learn how to transmute that. You know, maybe many of us are meant to, you know, reality surf between that 3D, 4D, and 5D world, you know, and that's what we're learning to do through these very strong bursts of energy, you know, that are coming through. It's a part of that mastering of our energy and getting good at feeling, you know, when we're in a lower vibe state and how to get ourselves out of it, you know, and
absolutely. We're all superheroes, and we're not just empaths, we're empowered empaths.
Absolutely.
We are no longer in that victim state. We are empowered. We are change creators. I mean, we're alchemists, you know, and you got to embrace that. And it's okay to feel off a day or two. It's okay. Because once we learn how to pick ourselves up and drag ourselves out of it, we're teaching other people to do the same.
So true. And we're so powerful. We are so powerful. And it's like, at first I thought being an empath was a burden, but now it's a blessing. It's like, gosh, I can pick up on stuff before people even know it, you know, and it's amazing. And the more you get in tune with your body and your intuition, gosh, the faster it comes in, you know? And so it's a time of creating, you know, even though this energy is heavy and strong, it's a time of creating too, because, you know, once you realize, wow, I'm feeling heavy and I've got to honor this for a day or two, it's like a boomerang, you know, it's like you're pulling it back. And then the moment you let go, it's like whoosh, you know, so keeping yourself positive and noticing when you're doing that negative self-talk and shutting it down, and you know, and adding more positive self-talk in there will help, you know, through that transition too. So
for sure.
Well, good. This was great. I hope, you know, some of these tools help you guys. And like I said, please share some of your comments and tools in the comment section, because we just brushed on some of the ones that we've been utilizing. And I know there's so many more out there. And for those of you who are, you know, who are listening and following this channel, it's all about empaths, you know, it really is. It's all about awakening and empaths and manifesting and all of these things that we are here to do. This is our divine right. This is what our existence is learning, relearning who we are, right? And we get that through those chills and those vibrations that we feel in our bodies. So
absolutely.
So I hope this was helpful for everyone. And as always, get out there and do something for yourself, because your soul will love you for it. Thanks for being here with me today, Steph.
Thank you so much for having me, Tanya. I really had fun.
You deserve to navigate your life as an empath in alignment with health, happiness, and abundance. To learn more about the services that I provide, including Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis, EFT Tapping, and the Emotion Code, visit my website at www.thesoulcafe.org.